All right. Hi, everyone. We are live today for our first employer spotlight, and we have Catherine here from Vanderbilt Mortgage and Finance. And Catherine is going to tell us all about what's going on at Vanderbilt Mortgage and Finance and how to apply for their jobs and give us some good career-related advice. So, Catherine, my first question for you today is a little bit about Vanderbilt Mortgage and Finance. Tell us a little bit about the company, what you all do, where your offices are located, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a great question. We are, we're located in Maryville. The actual home corporate office is located in Maryville, about 20 minutes south of Knoxville. And we are the financial arm of Clayton. So when you look at Clayton as a company, we are nationwide, all across coast to coast, and it is a vertically integrated company. So essentially what that means is we not only build the homes, we distribute the homes, we sell the homes, we finance the homes, insure them, collect on them, service and resell those homes. So that entire process for the customer does not mean that the customer is forced to choose each of our different business units. It just means that they have that option and that there are affordable options within that that work as a company together. Clayton is the #1 builder of manufactured housing, and we're also a Berkshire Hathaway company. We have been since 2003. So that security and stability is there for Berkshire. And such a great place to work. We are about 20,000 team members nationwide. Right there at our home office in Maryville, we're about 1,900. But to touch on Vanderbilt specifically, we are, like I said, that financial arm. So we service loans. So the customer decides, they go into a sales center and they decide that they want to purchase a home. They can pick Vanderbilt as a lender. And then as they pick Vanderbilt, we start that process from application all the way to the mortgage side. And then from mortgage, we service it for the entire life of the loan. So servicing over 200,000 loans per year. And just to give you an idea, I mean, roughly 80,000 application volume we looked at in 2018. And then in 2019, we funded about 10,000, almost 10,500 loans. So that just gives you a rough idea of the volume that we're going through. And then Vanderbilt also has an acquisition called Silverton Mortgage, and Silverton is located in Atlanta. And that's our first acquisition. And they are licensed in 23 states, and they have currently 29 different branches, and they are expanding rapidly. So that number is very, very much subject to change. And they do a lot of our site-built housing. We've acquired, Clayton as a whole has acquired a lot of site-built companies. So we're venturing out into that avenue. And then Silverton does a lot of those site-built acquisitions, but their originations, and then also they do FHA, so that's a big part of that as well.
Thank you. So are most of your positions in Maryville, but do you also have some in Atlanta?
Well, we are not specifically hiring for Silverton Mortgage. They have their own HR. It's basically their own business entity. As far as what we're hiring for, we do hire for Vanderbilt for the home office. And then our recruiting team with Vanderbilt works hand in hand with the other business units and their HR teams. And we work to, if we have students or if we have prospective candidates that are interested in lots of different roles, or maybe their supply chain, or maybe their engineering, or maybe their marketing, looking at all those different avenues to try to find the best fit, and then working with those recruiters to help expose those students to those different avenues, because not every opportunity is just going to be within Vanderbilt itself.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So, Catherine, tell us a little bit about some of the job and internship opportunities that you currently have open. What are some of the entry-level positions that you recruit for?
Okay, we As I mentioned, our HR teams all across different business units. So every business unit that's represented, whether that's the sales side, whether that's the manufacturing side, they all have their HR teams. Everyone does things differently. And I say that because a lot of our interns, we work collectively together. So we have interns that may come in and work specifically with Vanderbilt, but they have certain activities that they do with Vanderbilt, with the company as a whole. We have an internship planning team. We all work together to plan some of the events that are the same. And that way the interns get that experience company wide. But as far as Vanderbilt whole, we look at, we call it entry level for business professionals because we want people who have some sort of experience in the workplace. And whether that is for someone who has some temp experience, they have an office type background, whether that's someone that is maybe has serving experience, they've just worked part-time while they've been in college, some type of work experience. It could be, like I mentioned those, but nannying is a big one that I've seen recently. I've seen restaurant experience, but we look for the customer service piece and we look for the business experience. Doesn't mean everybody has those things, but those are generally some things that we look for. And as far as the actual position, we are not currently doing an internship this summer, just due to COVID-19 and all that pandemic. We just decided it would be safer not to go that route, but that doesn't mean we won't do it in the future. So we will start recruiting probably September or October for internships for next summer. And, but we are still hiring. So we're slowing down the process a little bit, but there is still a demand. So account representative is the #1 promoting position we have in the company. It is essentially a collections-based position. So it is, if a customer is delinquent on their mortgage payment, being able to call them. It is not collections as we typically know collections. It is more of a let's partner with the customer and let's see what we can do to help resolve the delinquency. So sometimes it's sitting with the customer on the phone and saying, hey, let me walk you through the budget. Let me walk you through some of the things that we could do. Here's some assistance options we can provide. Here's some assistance options locally where you're located to help that customer resolve the delinquency. It teaches a lot about difficult conversations. It teaches about accountability. It touches a lot of different business groups in the company. And so you're able to network and build relationships. And like I said, it's the #1 promoting position. So you are very much able to, after 11 months, every position, if you're hired in, we require you to be in a position for 11 months, and then you're eligible to look at promoting. And that's across the board. But the promotion opportunity is there because a lot of managers look at that particular role to say that experience is what they're going to need to go into future roles. So that's a good one. The call center agent is a good one. It's another one that touches a lot of different departments and business groups within the company. Firsthand experience with the customer, being able to help resolve issues and to help them if they have questions or concerns. So that's a good one. We currently have a mail processing center position that is open. Actually, account rep and call center agent are open, but we had a couple of mail processing center positions open just this week. And that, I consider it a very big part of our company because without mail, some of our groups can't even do business. And so being able to network and find different groups and different individuals in the company and collect that mail and being able to sort and process all of that is very important. So that position is open. There's a couple of accounting positions that are open as well. So that's kind of where we're at, but definitely opportunities for advancement and great culture, great environment to start in.
Yeah. So thinking about the account representative position, are there any specific majors you look for, any specific skill sets? I know you mentioned some different, having a customer service background in some way, shape, or form, but tell us a little bit about that.
So we're not really specific as far as a major goes. I mean, we had, I want to say At the beginning of the year, we had, I think it was at the beginning of the year, we had a lady who had a dental degree, and she was just looking for a change of pace, and just that was not for her. And she said, hey, I want to do something different. And so really at the end of the day, what we want is someone who is willing to come in and has that coachable, teachable spirit that we can train and develop to do the position, and that they're hungry to learn. But not specific to a major. I mean, I've had anthropology majors, I've had psychology majors, I've had English majors. I mean, it's really just depending on what direction you really want to go. And then sometimes what we find is that people just really want a job, and they want an opportunity to start with a company where they can grow and excel. And once they start in a position, then they have an opportunity to kind of figure out their career path and where they want to go within the company. And sort of what happened to me, a little bit of my story. When I started, I was a psychology major. I had no idea what I was going to do. And I started the company and then fell into recruiting and the training and development piece of it. And now I'm using my major, but it's just taken me a little while to get there.
Yeah, no, that's great. So did you start out in the account representative role?
Actually, I'm one of the few that did not.
Okay.
The only reason that I didn't is because at the time my sister worked for the company, and she worked as an account in the account representative area. And so because of like our relationship, we couldn't work and report to the same manager. And so they ended up rerouting my resume on the loan processing side. And that's how I ended up over there. But otherwise I would have started in the same area. And I think a lot of times people, I'll hear this a lot. They're like, I don't want to start in collections because it's known around the community and surrounding communities that I will hear people say, well, I know at Clayton you have to start in collections. Well, it's not always the case. Do we like for you to? Yes. Is there a great opportunity to come in and to learn the position and to learn what you need to excel in other areas? Yes, but it doesn't always mean you have to 100% start in that area.
Sure. And do you do direct hires into like IT and those engineering types of roles?
Mainly that's with our corporate side, but we do work with their recruiters. So when we have students that will apply, or if we have students that we'll talk to at career fairs, or that will meet different events, we will route and we'll partner with them, with their HR team, to make sure that they get that exposure to those specific roles. I will say some of the best setups that we have is when we do go to career on campus, and it's like a representative from every business unit. And that way we've got someone from tech, we have someone from Vanderbilt, we have someone from home building group, and someone from retail. And that way we all, as the students come in, we're like, hey, what are you interested in? If they say finance and accounting, then everybody's like, oh, Catherine's who you need to talk to. But it's not always just Vanderbilt. Sometimes we've got corporate who is directly with Clayton. They have their own accounting, they have their own internal audit. So sometimes it's just us, it may be collaboratively interviewing and saying, hey, which team do we think this person would be the best fit for?
Sure. Sounds like there's a lot of opportunities there.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about Vanderbilt Mortgage and Finances. Tell us about your company culture. Why do you like working there?
This is my favorite question. Because if you had told me 10 years ago, I've been with the company for 8 years. And if you had told me 10 years ago that I would be here, that I would be doing something that I absolutely love, I would never have believed you. And so the culture is unmatched of any organization that I can think of. A lot of times we get compared to like the corporate environment at Google or at Amazon. I don't know, I haven't been there, so I can't say that that's the case, but I just know that we hear all the time, everybody is always smiling and everybody is happy, and we are, because we love our jobs. Doesn't mean you're going to come in every day and you're going to be like the happiest person on the planet. Maybe you've got some difficult situations that you're dealing with customers, but it does mean that overall, as a whole, you appreciate the fact that you get to get up and come to work every day. And I would say that most people are very passionate about what they do, and they're passionate because they're bought into the vision of the company, and they're bought into our goal as a company is we want to open doors to a better life, and we want to provide that vision of home ownership to people. And as Vanderbilt, we exist because we believe home ownership makes lives better, and so we get this feeling and this sense of pride and ownership and being able to partner with a customer to help them achieve that dream of home ownership. And not only from that respect, I don't work directly with customers, but I am responsible for hiring people that are going to work with our customers. And so that's how my passion and drive transfers into what I do. But we have fun when we're there. We're always thinking of something creative to do. We've done, we do different quarterly events to celebrate our quarterly bonus. We've had an 80s band come in and do an 80s concert at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we're all dressed in 80s stuff and rocking out, and it's awesome. We've done different events with vendors. We do a farmers market in the summer where local vendors come and set up in our parking lot, and we get to go out and shop and support local business. We do a fall festival in the fall where team members who do some side business or maybe they do something like crafty, they can set up tables, and we do a craft fair and they can sell their products to our team members. So is always something. And then just the environment in general, and knowing that your managers and your leadership support you and they want you to grow and develop professionally. Who I am now as opposed to who I was when I started the company are very different, not in a bad way, just because I've been coached on here's how you have professional conversation. Here's what you say and what you don't say in an interview. Here's how you carry yourself in a meeting and what are the appropriate responses that you need to have. And just all of those things that could sting a little because it's criticism, but at the same time, I can see how I've professionally grown. And those are things that keep me there because I want to continue growing. And I tell anybody that we're looking at hiring, you know, you're going to be continuing to grow and develop throughout the whole time that you're here.
That sounds like a great place to work.
Yes.
Yeah. Catherine, what advice do you have for students who are maybe now graduating and on the job market? What general advice do you have as they are searching for jobs during kind of a tenuous time?
I think that is such a great question because it is very different than anything that any of us have ever been through before. And I think the best advice that I can give and know that I'm walking through this just like everybody else is. And so I just wanted to share a little bit about me. And so I could speak to that. I'm probably going to be really vulnerable and really transparent, but for me to say what I need to say, I need to back it up with this. But I am a very anxious person and I have been anxious my whole life. And I stress and I worry about everything. And years of counseling, I'm a huge advocate of counseling, but years and years of counseling just for my mental health have taught me that in order to keep myself from being very overwhelmed and in this perfectionist mentality or this unrelenting standard mentality, that I have to compartmentalize. So when I get up in the morning, I drop my kid off, old world, drop my kid off at school, and then I drive to work and I transition into recruiter team member, and I'm in work mode until I leave the office at 5:30, 6 o'clock. And then when I drive home, that's my transition to leave work to come home and to be a mom and to be a wife. And when I'm home with my kids, like I don't pick up work, I don't talk about work, I don't work while I'm at home. They're very separate for me. And some people don't work like that. That's the only way I can keep myself in line and check. But with this recent pandemic, we're all forced to work from home. And so I have my kids at home, and I have my husband who's self-employed, and it's his busy season and he's at home, and then he's coming and going constantly. And then I'm trying to homeschool, and I'm dealing with a toddler, and I'm working a full-time job. And so all of those things have forced me to be very creative and think outside the box. And where my box was very compartmentalized, now it is very fluid. And so I say all that to say that I think for those students who are graduating and they're looking for a job, to think outside the box. It's not going to be business as usual. It's not going to be, oh, I just turn in a resume and application and I just wait to hear a call back. They're going to have to be resourceful, and they may have to go on websites and visit different career sites to see if there are positions that are posted. I know as a recruiter, I'm being more resourceful in how I'm sourcing candidates. And so think outside the box, be creative if it's something that you feel you can do. So I've had a couple people reach out who are nannying right now because there's such a need for nannies. And that may not be your related major, but it gives you some work experience. And that's vital to a long-term professional career. And so it's not the same way it was. It's not going to go back to being that way. And I think that we need to be innovative, and we need to figure out outside that box that we compartmentalize. We need to be fluid and think about how we're working and how we can do things differently, and try to find new and creative ways to find positions, to reach out. I know with us launching our Facebook careers page, I've had people reach out to me through instant message. And I love that because it's like a direct contact, and it's not, I don't mind talking to people on the phone, but it's easier for me to have a conversation with Messenger while I'm working. So be resourceful and know that the professionalism piece of it, still be professional. Like, let's not use emojis and, yeah. abbreviations. It's not a text conversation, but at the same time, be innovative and try to find other avenues that you can explore. And I think that's how we're going to figure out what this is going to look like going forward. And then accepting that it's different, I think, is a big piece of it as well.
Sure. That's great advice. Yeah, definitely. I think being proactive about reaching out is probably more important than ever. And I like that you talked about, people that are just nannying because they need a job. It may not be the perfect thing, but it's valuable experience, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Well, Catherine, we are running out of time, so I want to just give you an opportunity to share any other information that you would like UT Vols current students and alumni to have. Feel free to share your Facebook page or whatever else you want to tell us.
Yeah, I would love to. We have a couple of avenues. Like I said, with our Facebook page, we just launched it in February. So it is very new, but there's a lot of very beneficial information. We post very frequently on there. It's a lot about team member engagement and culture. And sometimes I'll post positions on there, but primarily just for people to get a sense of who we are as a company and what we believe in and what our goals are and what our culture and engagement is like. So check that out. It's Vanderbilt Mortgage and Finance, Inc., because there is a page out there that is not our official page. So make sure you follow the official page, and then feel free to reach out if you have any questions. We also have an email address that's hireme@vmf.com, HIREME@vmf.com. And that is directly to our recruiters. So if you have any questions that are related, you can do that. And then our website, vmfcareers.com, has all of our positions and everything that we look for. Everything that I've talked about today is on that website. And so you can explore. You can also see the Facebook social media feeds on that page as well. And feel free to reach out. The email address I mentioned is also on there. So feel free to reach out or apply for a position. If you do apply, fill out that application and then send me an email through Hire Me and just say, Catherine, I heard your Facebook Live and I would love to be considered for this position. And that way I know and I can contribute the source and I know where it came from. So that would be
A
really
little frozen here. Catherine, can you repeat that, Catherine? It cut out a little bit. What we heard was
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
you do apply, then.
Yeah, if you do apply, just maybe send me an email through Hire Me
Perfect.
at vmf.com. That way I know and I can contribute the source of where it came from. Just say, hey, I heard you on Facebook Live or the Center for Career Development, and I would love to be considered for this position. And that way I know and I can put all the pieces together. But go ahead and do that. And then just keep me posted. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Or if you have any advice or suggestions or anything, feel free to reach out and let me know.
Thank you, Catherine. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today. It was great to hear about Vanderbilt Mortgage and Finance for our employer spotlight today. And have a great rest of the day, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.